What would you say to someone who's entering the teaching profession today? What advice would you give them?
Don't enter teaching profession.
Really?
Yes.
Take a deep breath. There's so much that'll be thrown at you that every day is your lesson. Every day is your chance to get better.
It's worth it. Don't give up. You're going to have the challenges. You're going to have the days where you screw up and it is an utter disaster that makes you want to cry. But then you can look back and you'll be able to laugh on it. You'll know what to change. I mean, you got to be able to go with a roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster.
Total roller coaster.
It's a good description.
This is funny because today was my son's first day of student teaching.
Oh,
So
so this is relevant.
This is really relevant. And he's going to be an electives teacher as well, teaching choir. And so I told him it doesn't, there will always be new things, and there will always be goals you have to set, and there will always be things you have to do coming down from the administration. And rather than raising your hand and telling the entire staff, I don't see how this applies to me, or I can't do that in my classroom, you go into your classroom and you make it work as best you can, but it doesn't have to be a fight. You just take what's given to you and you make it work. And you don't have to complain, and you don't have to make it everybody else's problem. And if you do things to the best of your ability in your classroom, then that's going to benefit the kids the best.
I'd say try to cut out what you hear from other people, the hearsay and all the negativity, and focus on why you got into the field and why you're doing what you're doing, because it is important, and take the good with the bad.
Well, at this point, I've had 7 student teachers in 9 years, so I've been doling out a lot of advice. I get a lot of student teachers that they come in and they're like, I want to be a high school painting teacher, or I just want to be this specific thing. As a teacher, I would say broaden your horizons. And also, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be afraid to fail. Try new and different things consistently. We get bombarded with, like Chris said, every year there's something new that comes down the pike, some kind of new best practices. It doesn't mean the old best practices are bad, it just means we got new ones, right? So there's so much that we can try and get kids engaged with, and being willing to take risks in that in my lessons. And the other thing I would tell them is really work at relationships with kids, because that's huge. If you build a rapport with a kid, they'll go to the mat for you.
Run.
The other way?
The advice I would give is get into it for the love of students, and remember that, because some days that's the hardest part of the job to remember, is why you started. And if you don't love kids and you don't love watching them learn and you don't love watching them grow, then teaching is going to be your worst nightmare. If you get lost in all of the administrative stuff, the paperwork, the testing, the curriculum, the meeting, the deadlines, the talking with parents, the kid who doesn't do their homework, all of that will drag and bog you down, and you have to really remember why you started.
I read an article recently about if you're halfway through or you're getting there, but how do you survive to retirement? And one of the things is to get back to why you became a teacher. Why did you become? And for me, I liked being around the kids, their energy. It helps drive me. It helps make my days better, and that no day is the same. And get back to that. Stay on that. Don't let people push you out of that because this is the way you're supposed to teach. Instead, make sure that you're hitting their needs and your needs.